Let me tell you the truth, however cruel it may be. Becoming rich is not as difficult as many think. People shroud this process in mystique, considering it something sacred, hidden behind closed doors, recorded in dusty books, or discussed in tight circles. But in reality, the path to wealth is extremely simple. You don't need to be a genius. Perfection is not required. What is needed is something much rarer: brutal honesty and strategic courage. The reason most people never achieve wealth is not that it is unattainable. The thing is, they refuse to acknowledge the price that must be paid. They want wealth in a convenient package, served with ease and a smile. But that's how the world is arranged. They wish to work a little, complain a lot, and hope that the world will hand them treasures. They think that a little effort and a bucket of dreams will magically change their lives, but the truth does not conform to dreams. She adheres to principles. The principle is that money flows not to those who dream, but to those who play the game. Not the game they would like to see, but the one that actually exists. Machiavelli understood this. He studied power, not convenience. He observed human nature rather than fantasies, and he saw that reality favors those who accept it without illusions. Let's break these illusions. All of them. Forget about beautiful lies, about comfortable slogans, about all the nonsense that has been sold to you. Work hard, and good things will happen. In reality, many work hard, and most remain poor. Dream big, and you will succeed. No, dreaming without power is just entertainment. These phrases are made to keep you in check, controlled, predictable, and this is exactly what the system wants, because predictable people are easily controlled. They wake up at the same time, perform the same tasks, follow the same patterns. They scroll through their phones, go to work, return home. What a spectacle. Sleep. Repeat. Predictability is rewarded with survival, not wealth. Survival is not the same as freedom. Comfort does not equal control. Do you really think the system wants you to be rich? Of course not. The system wants you to be manageable. She wants you to dream, but never act. Because as soon as you start to act, as soon as you think, as soon as you decide to build instead of beg, you become dangerous. And the system does not like dangerous people. Machiavelli laughed at the illusions of the masses. He saw what most ignore. The world is unfair. Reality does not reward kindness. It rewards courage. Not those who wait for the rules to help them, but those who rewrite the rules to their advantage. Thus, the first harsh truth: most remain poor because they follow rules designed to keep them poor. They were told to work hard, save money, and pray for things to go well. But the rich do not pray, they plan. They do not save, they invest. They do not work for money, they make money work for them. Imagine a scene. Two people, one city, 1 year. One of them goes to work, receives a salary, saves a little, hoping for security. The other explores markets, creates a small business, learns to sell. 10 years pass. One has fatigue and a bank account barely covering inflation. The other has assets, cash flow, leverage, freedom. What has changed? Not work hours, not effort, just mindset. The rich do not follow the rules of the poor. They create their own. These rules are simple: to own, to control, to multiply. The poor are led to believe they must exchange time for money. The rich understand that time is a terrible currency. It depletes. Ownership does not. When you own something, a business, an idea, a system, you no longer toil for money. Money works for you. This is how the game changes. But most never take that first step. Why? Out of fear. The same fear that paralyzes millions every day. The fear of failure. The fear of looking foolish. The fear of stepping outside. But they never realize that this line leads nowhere. She leads to a retirement party with a warm cake and a pension barely covering rent. Fear locks them in a cage they built themselves, a cage called stability. A word that sounds safe but kills slowly. Jobs end. Economies collapse. Inflation eats away at your savings like termites in a house you thought was strong. This is not security. It's a slow death. And the brave do not chase safety. They strive for control. Control over time, income, direction. And to gain this control, they take risks. Not recklessly, but consciously. They see what others ignore. Risk is not an enemy. It is a door. As Machiavelli said, fortune favors the bold. Not the loud, not the emotional, but the bold. Those who walk into the storm, not hoping it will pass, but ready to conquer it. But still, most remain poor, even knowing the truth, even understanding the facts. Why? Because they confuse activity with progress. They scurry in place like hamsters on a wheel, moving quickly but going nowhere. Tired of tasks that matter not, work that exhausts, habits that dull, people who distract, and they call it progress. Getting rich is extremely simple because it's not about movement, but direction. Learn how money flows. Take a place on their path. Build leverage. Get more than you give. Keep it. Multiply. That's it. Simple. Not easy, but possible. And the possible is all you need. Imagine money as a river. Most people stand on the shore, hoping the flow will sprinkle a few drops on them. The rich build channels. They lay pipelines. They direct the flow right onto their land. One river, one opportunity. But one group waits while another takes. One group prays, the other builds. And here it becomes even more real. Machiavelli spoke of two forces, fear and desire. The rich understand both. They make people fear missing out on an opportunity. They evoke the desire for what they offer. They create brands, products, movements not based on logic, but on emotions. They touch desire, vanity, hunger. They do not sell goods. They sell identity. They do not offer benefits. They sow dreams. So, when you think of wealth, stop imagining piles of money. This is not wealth. True wealth is influence over human desires, control over attention, authority and perception. This is the real currency. A person who makes others desire what they have will never be poor. A woman who becomes an integral part of attention will always possess power, because money follows magnetism, and magnetism can be developed. But beware, this game has enemies. As you rise, people begin to whisper. They will call you lucky, arrogant, greedy. They will envy you for doing what they never dared. You broke free from the cages. You rejected their comfort, and this makes them uncomfortable, but it's the price to pay. Machiavelli warned us, power attracts opposition. Wealth does too. So you should ask yourself, are you ready to pay this price? Are you willing to give up comfort for control? Can you endure judgment, risk, loneliness, and keep moving forward? Because if you can, the path is open. The truth is that the world has always been divided not by intellect or effort, but by perception. Since childhood, you were taught to stay in place, not because you lacked potential, but because the system needed you as a controlled element. She wanted you to be obedient, to believe in the illusion of safety, sit quietly, memorize facts, don't ask questions, raise your hand, get good grades, then find a reliable job, work there for 40 years, and quietly retire with just enough to survive. It was a script. It was a trap. And most never questioned this order. They confused obedience with wisdom. But the truth is, you were not educated. You were domesticated. You were prepared not for freedom, but for dependence. And it is this dependence that keeps most people in poverty. The system never wanted you to understand money. That's why schools don't teach it. They don't teach you to sell, negotiate, invest, or create something from nothing. Why? Because if you knew how to do it, you wouldn't need the system anymore. The rich understood this long ago. They did not distract themselves with rules meant for others. They rewrote their own, because they knew the true truth. Wealth is not earned through labor. It is achieved through leverage. It is not won by following the crowd. It is seized when you distance yourself from it. Imagine a man who spends his whole life trading time for money. Every day he wakes up at 6, puts on the same clothes, drives the same road, answers the same emails, hoping that one day, if he's lucky, he will be free. But freedom never comes. She cannot come because he never built anything that could exist without him. Now imagine another person. He starts the same way but questions everything. He learns, experiments, fails, builds. Slowly at first, then he begins to gain momentum. His side project turns into income. His income becomes investments. His investments lead to freedom. 10 years later, one man is still trading time. One of them is dealing in assets, another is weary, and the third is full of energy. And it's not about luck. It's about the courage to ask oneself, what if everything I've been taught is actually a lie? Most people will never ask this question. Why? Because comfort is an addiction, It brings joy from safety, warming the feeling of acceptance. But comfort is a slow poison, and the worst part is that it disguises itself as happiness. That is the tragedy. People think they are satisfied with life, but in reality, they are just indifferent. They have traded fire for routine, buried their ambitions under enviable bustle, and with each passing day, they drift further from the life they could have led. Machiavelli noted this long ago. He said that people quickly forget about danger when all is well, but danger never forgets them. The world does not care about your comfort. It respects strength. Strength is achieved through discomfort, discipline, and strategy. If you want wealth, you must unlearn everything you were taught. Leave behind soft lies and embrace harsh truths. And the harshest truth of all, you are the only one responsible for your future. No one will come to save you. Neither your boss, nor the state, nor society. Only you. And where to start? Not with money, with skills. Skills are the weapons of a new era. Selling, writing, programming, design, persuasion, negotiation. These are the tools that create empires. Not diplomas, not resumes, not paper credentials. Real, practical skills. Master one. Refine it daily. Skills create value, and value attracts wealth. The more value you can create, the more money will seek you. When you have a skill, you build leverage. The lever is the multiplication of your efforts beyond time. Work is linear. 1 hour equals 1 paycheck. Business, however, is exponential. One product, one video, one piece of content can earn you money forever. The poor exchange hours, the rich exchange influence, and influence scales. Look at the internet. This is a great amplification. Your past experience, accent, or diplomas do not matter to him. What matters is what you create. One post can go viral, one product can scale, one sentence can change everything. But only if you dare to do it. Only if you risk being noticed. And it is here that most people fail. They fear being seen. They fear rejection and judgment. But invisibility is more dangerous than failure. If no one knows about you, you have already lost. Machiavelli would say that perception is power. How you are seen determines the opportunities you receive. The wealthy understand this. That's why they invest in their appearance, their brand, their story. They do not wait for recognition. They demand it. They project strength, even when feeling fear, because the world does not reward the most deserving. It rewards the most undeniable. And when you start to rise, be ready, because that's when the attacks will begin. Envy, gossip, resentment. People will say you've changed, that you've sold out, that you're just lucky. But they won't see how many sleepless nights you've spent working while they slept. They won't notice the risks you took while they hesitated. They will only see your achievements and envy you. That's the price you have to pay, but it's worth it. Behind the walls of this resistance lies freedom, not the fake freedom that gives weekends and 2 weeks of vacation. And true freedom, the kind that allows you to rise whenever you wish, to go wherever you desire, to work with those you choose, to refuse without fear. This is what brings wealth, not just things, but choice. But even when you start accumulating wealth, the game does not end. In reality, the true test begins. Earning money is one thing, but keeping it is entirely different. Money is like fire. It can warm or burn. Without discipline, it can destroy you. Involuntarily rich people are the most vulnerable. They confuse wealth with status. They buy assets that are actually burdens, striving to appear wealthy instead of being so. This mistake costs them everything. Truly rich people spend wisely, not displaying wealth to strangers or chasing approval. They buy assets, seeking solitude and control. Every purchase makes sense. Every dollar is a soldier sent to battle to bring more. This is how wealth grows, not through luck, not through accumulation, but through multiplication. To protect their assets, they create mechanisms of defense, contracts, legal structures, strategic partnerships. Wealth attracts predators, parasites, lawsuits, and betrayal. Machiavelli warned rulers about this. Power without protection is weakness. The rich understand this, and if you want to remain rich, you must realize it too. The question now is, will you stay in your comfort zone or step into the storm? Will you follow the given script or write your own? The rules are not hidden. They are in plain sight. But most are afraid to play, and this fear costs them everything. Comfort, predictability, obedience. These are not virtues, but chains. tear them apart. The moment comes when you must decide whether you will be a spectator or a player. Will you watch others rise, or will you rise yourself? Will you scroll through success stories and whisper, "It must be nice"? Or will you build your own and say, "I deserve this"? Because knowledge without action is self-deception. You can study money for years, quote every successful entrepreneur, plan to exhaustion, but if you don't take a step, nothing will change. If you don't act, you'll remain poor. Machiavelli said that fortune is like a powerful, turbulent river, constantly changing. It floods and destroys those who waver, but nourishes those who direct it. Wealth is the same. It flows to those who are ready, who build channels instead of shelters, to those who act when others doubt, to those who take risks and dare to swim against the current. So what does action mean in this world of complexity and chaos? It is not magic. It is not a mystery. Everything is extremely simple. The first step: choose one skill and perfect it. Not 10, not 5, 1. Choose your weapon and hone it daily until it is sharp as a blade that cuts through doubts. Whether in sales, marketing, writing, programming, trading, construction, or public speaking. Make it impossible to ignore, as mastery breeds confidence, and confidence attracts money like a magnet. The second step is to stop thinking like an employee. If all your thoughts are focused on hourly pay, you have already lost. This is a survival mindset, not a wealth mindset. Workers ask, "How much will I earn for this hour?" While owners question, "What can I create today that will bring me income forever?" This is the essence. This is the way out. You must stop trading time for money and start creating mechanisms. Mechanisms that earn money without your permission. The third step is to create leverage. It's impossible to get rich alone. You need systems, people, platforms, and tools. This is how wealth is built. If you're a writer, the internet is your publisher. If you are a seller, the funnel is your sales team. If you are a builder, your systems are your team. Levers amplify your impact, and without them, you are just one person. With them, you become a force. But this is where the hardest part begins. The fourth step: accept the harsh reality. Becoming rich is not a celebration. It is a war that tests all your qualities: patience, courage, focus, and discipline. You will be mocked, laughed at, and ignored. You will endure public failures. The people you love may not understand you. Some may leave. Yet you must move forward, for this path, strewn with thorns and fire, leads to freedom. Most will not reach the end, not because they are weak, but because they were never prepared for pain. They were raised in comfort, instilling false ideas of justice, fed hope instead of truth. But only those who endure, who pass through darkness and solitude, will rise. The fifth step: defend your fortress. Once you start to win, enemies will appear. False friends will want a part of your success. Opportunists will come with smiles. Some will try to copy, others to destroy. Such is reality. Machiavelli advised rulers to prepare for betrayal before it arrives. Wealth operates in the same way. Use contracts, set boundaries, show insight. Protect what you have built, because once you know freedom, you won't want to lose it, and you won't have to if you guard it like a king guards his throne. But even that is not enough. There is one final level, and it is here that many fail. The psychology of the ultimate goal. What happens when money arrives? Do not doubt. It will come. If you walk the path with clarity and courage, it will surely appear. But money does not solve your problems. It exposes them. If you were frivolous, you'll be frivolous with more money. If you felt insecure, with millions you'll still be insecure. If you were lost, you'll remain lost, just in more comfortable conditions. Therefore, you must prepare your mind, not just your wallet. Understand what true wealth is. Wealth is not about worries and private jets. These are just reflections, symbols, noise. True wealth is control. Control over your time, your mind, your choices. True wealth is the ability to wake up and decide how to live, rather than reacting to the decisions of others. If someone owns your time, you are not free. If someone controls your choices, you are not secure. Regardless of how shiny your shoes are or what your income is, Machiavelli taught that a true ruler thinks not only of today, but also of future generations. This is the ultimate evolution of wealth. Legacy, creating something that will live on after you. Money that will feed your children. Assets that will strengthen your lineage. Ideas that will resonate through time. This is the true reward. This is the ultimate goal. But most will never see it, because most will never begin. They will hear this. They will feel an inner fire. They will nod in agreement, and then return to the familiar. Back to comfort. Back to the cage. And the system will accept them. Pat them on the back. Reward them just enough so they don't make a noise. And the cycle repeats. But only a few, just a few, will decide that today is the last day they live by someone else's rules. They will tear up the script. Choose discomfort. They will study money as a soldier studies war. They will sharpen their skills like blades. They will create what no one has given them permission for. And when they win, they will not apologize. They will not explain. They will just nod. Because they will understand what most will never understand. Wealth has always been brutally simple. Learn, build, own, protect, multiply, repeat. And above all, understand this. No one will come to save you. There is no rescue ship, no magical moment, no perfect plan. There is only this moment, this decision, and this question. Are you ready to face the harsh reality? If so, you will rise. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. But in the end, undoubtedly, you will rise. Not as a follower, but as a ruler. Not as a beggar, but as a creator. Not as one who waits, but as one who owns. You will speak less, act smarter, strike faster. You will play the real game, and you will win. Not because it was easy, not because it was fair, but because you had the courage to walk through fire while others remained in the shadows. The world needs fewer dreamers. It needs more doers. The path has always been here, hidden in plain sight, wrapped in harsh simplicity, waiting for someone brave enough to follow it. So here we are. Illusions have vanished. The truth is laid bare. The time has come. The script ends. Your story begins.